1 2 testing, testing. Yep, I think we're going to be live. Let me just get our volume up. I hope you can hear me out there. As we'll get started for the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Online in association with Round for Round Boxing. Yes, we're still in association with Round for Round Boxing, a new boxing game coming out on PC, Xbox, on PS4. This game is coming out. Believe me, it's coming out. There's delays on the information coming out, but the game is still going ahead. Trust me. And I'm sure there will be a release of information very shortly. Okay, so before I go any further, let's start out with the show that was just our premiere with one James Ali Bashir. Yep. The good-looking gentleman on the right is James Ali Bashir. The gentleman in the middle is Vlad Tsarenko, unbeaten from the Ukraine, with a record of 10-0, fights next weekend in Germany. And the man on the left is yours truly. I want to talk about this just for a moment. I felt it was a great opportunity because of Uncle Bashir and he's been in boxing 50 years and he's trained some great fighters. You know, coming from the Muhammad Ali era, Bashir has trained some great fighters, world champions. We know the recent fighter he worked with was Alexander Usyk, but that doesn't begin to give Bashir the credit that he deserves, and is very underrated as a trainer, very underrated. And to prove my point in how underrated Bashir is, there is a video, a feature of James Ali Bashir, which is Bashir and Tsarenko Sweet Science. Please get out there and look at it. You'll get to see a trainer and a fighter working together on the pads, shadow boxing, and a relationship between fighter and trainer, and how they get those essential ingredients together for what we see on fight night. Not what you see at media workouts, which is a real joke. Media workouts don't do a fight any justice whatsoever. Media workouts most of the time is for the media, and they won't put in the full effort. Whereas in training camp, you can actually get to see a fighter slipping, missing, trying different things in training camp. So you get to see Bashir and the pad work. And there's a little interview with them afterwards as well, talking with Bashir and Tsarenko. Really good stuff for you to look at. Check it out. You'll get to hear more about Bashir and his philosophies on shadow boxing, why it's so important, where he prefers to see fighters doing shadow boxing than running up mountains. Very interesting. Again, check it out. I hope you can hear me clearly. I hope the sound is clear as well. If it's not clear, please do let me know and I will adjust it accordingly. So yeah, and I managed to do a round on the pads. That's on BWTM Sports if you really are interested in seeing the round I did with Bashir. I found it very enjoyable. And I've had some comments from a few people, including Mikey BA says, "My man, the Dark Golovkin." I don't know about all that stuff, but yeah, it was good. It was fun. It was a bit of fun. I enjoyed it. And I just felt that so many great champions along the years have worked with Bashir. It was just great to be just hitting pads with him and taking it seriously rather than making a clown of myself inside the ring. Okay, so let us talk about what is going on in the boxing world. I told you all, and I keep telling you all, boxing is like a soap opera now. It's like something like WWF or WWE. That's what it is. So let's talk about the big controversy at the moment. Let's see if we can bring that. Let's bring up, where is it? It was Joshua versus Miller, wasn't it? Obviously, we don't have that now, but Big Baby or Big Bully Miller. Well, he's failed a second drug test, allegedly. The first drug test was for, was it something? And now this one is HGH, growth hormone. So he's been busted twice, Mr. Miller. Now, I said to you before, and if you listen to my interview with Sam Jones, please, if you cannot hear me, please let me know if you can't hear me. Let me crank this up a little bit more as well. There we go. So you should hear me a lot clearer. with my man Sam Jones, the manager of Joe Joyce. I said to him, "Look, PEDs. This whole thing with PEDs. My concern about it is, how do you know when somebody is genuinely a PED, um, somebody who basically has failed the test, and somebody who genuinely is innocent? How do you tell the difference? Well, because VADA says this, and if VADA says it, then it's got to be true. Well, hey, look, we've got the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and IBO rankings, all the rankings that are there. How a man who's ranked 20 in the world suddenly becomes in the top 10 just because a promoter slips some money to a certain individual that gets a person going to rankings. We know it happens. Let's not talk and say it doesn't happen. It happens in boxing. Nobody's going to openly go out and admit it, because then we'll be talking about corruption. But it happens. Promoters knows it happens. And managers know it happens. So, hey, it happens. So we've seen dodgy judging and corruption in judging as well. So listen to me. If there can be corruption within judging, if there can be corruption within the rankings, if there can be corruption within fighters, the way fighters are getting paid, then you can damn be sure there's corruption within drug testing. It can happen. I'm not suggesting for 1 second that Miller did or didn't do it, but I will say this much. I said, going back, thank you very much. It needs a pop filter. I appreciate that. We're getting there. We're getting there. I said, going back, let me put this down here rather than me putting it to my mouth. Yeah, I've got space. Let's try this. Is this better now? I said a while back, and I think I said it to Sam Jones as well, that this PED situation can be manipulated. Thank you. And I said, with Miller doesn't seem the type of guy that's going to just lay down. Miller does not seem the kind of guy to me that's just going to accept it. We know Miller came from a background of fighting before he was a boxer. I believe he was an MMA fighter. Yeah, thank you very much. I had it right up in my mouth. He was an MMA fighter or UFC fighter, something like that. So he fought before. I don't know if he was juiced to rafters then. I don't know. I do remember Deontay Wilder making a comment saying how, yeah, we know that you are on something. We know the likes of you are on something. Now, we know Deontay Wilder and Miller had their disagreements in the past. So that situation, I don't know what's what there. But I did pick up another interview that Miller had. That's what caught my attention. He said, yeah, I didn't go with Wilder because I had some disagreements. And I didn't agree with Wilder because of this and that. And that got my attention because he had a disagreement with somebody back then. He was talking about a disagreement with VADA, or he didn't want to sign with VADA because he said VADA were not consistent. That's why he didn't sign up to them. And now look what's happened. Not once, but twice he's failed the test in the biggest fight of his career. We knew there were contractual issues with Miller as well. I know from what I remembered before the actual fight with Joshua, there were some murmurings that he wasn't happy. If you go on his Twitter page, he made some statements. If I'm right, he did make some statements. Somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong here, but he did make some statements about his contract and feeling that he wasn't being looked after. I think his manager is the guy who Khan knocked out Dimitri Salita. I think Salita Promotions. I think, if I'm right, Miller had some issues there. There was something going on there where he wasn't getting paid right. He didn't feel he was getting paid. Something wasn't right there. So there's that there with Miller. There's that thing about VADA, and we got the Wilder situation where he's talking about Miller being on PDs. I can't be for sure that he's a PD user, but I can be for sure that his character is one that's not going to take any BS. And the character, for one, seems to me the type of guy that is not going to follow the script. And we do know people like this in the past that get punished for speaking out or doing the things that a promoter doesn't want them to do. So conversation can go along the lines of, listen, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, we can screw your career over. And then the conversation could be, yeah, do what the hell you want. You can't do anything to me. And then the person says, yep, do this. And you have a situation now where a fighter is now his career is effectively over. If not over, then he's in a serious situation. But it's interesting. Miller has been done for drugs, PEDs. Canelo got done for PEDs, but yet Canelo continued boxing. Liam Cameron from the UK, middleweight, was found with allegedly cocaine in his system. Where is now? He's banned from boxing or suspended for boxing. So the rules are not consistent. The rules are not consistent. And so when the rules are not consistent, I can't have any faith in the governing bodies, the drug testing, none of it. Because it's all, to me, inconsistent. It suits who it suits when it suits. If your face fits, if you're a big money spinner and you bring lots of money to the table, slip and slide and go to the side, it seems to me that certain fighters, depending on their bank balance and how much money they can draw in, is dependent on whether they're going to get the full book thrown at them or a little bit of the book thrown at them. Depending on who their promoter is, who their manager is, how much power they have, and whether they are going to play along and basically kiss ass. So this boxing world, there are a lot of people who don't understand the sport of boxing, and there are people who are like sheep, where the sheep just follow what everybody else says. So forget these people. They can't think for themselves. So here we go. Mohammed Ahmed says, good evening, Mohammed. He goes, he said he didn't sign up with his WBC clean boxing program because he doesn't want a situation where he has to tell them where he is at all times. Well, you openly put that in camera, then you leave yourself open to questions being asked. Why don't you want people to know where you are? You're doing something you shouldn't be doing. So, to me, it's a real quick way to ruin a guy's career. I've said this before. And the thing is, who the fight's connected to, again, are people I listen. For example, when they were trying to sell us the story about Dillian Whyte, remember they were selling us a story? Oh, well, Dillian Whyte will fight Anthony Joshua afterwards. They were telling you that story, but yet afterwards you had Big Baby Miller on Soccer AM. What the hell is he doing on Soccer AM kicking a football? Because they're trying to build a profile. Because guess what? The damn one had no intentions of having Dillian Whyte fight Anthony Joshua a second time. But there's one thing further. He's a big guy and stamina. It did look suspect. Okay. Sorry, I'm not going with Miller with being set up. Miller was caught with PDs when he was fighting in K1. This is the first time. This is the second time. Yeah, of course. I'm not. Now, for 1 second, I'm not saying he's not innocent. I'm not saying he's not guilty. What I am saying is, don't believe that every single person that's done with PEDs is guilty. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the system is corrupt. That's what I'm saying. And it's a sure way to ruin a fighter's career and his legacy. You just do that. All you have to do is say, PEDs, your fighter's career is ruined. All they have to do now, like for Golovkin, if Golovkin were to say something and piss somebody off, they say, all right, then next time you do a drug test, we'll just put PED on you. Oh, yeah, I know that Golovkin was a cheat, knocking all them people over. Do you see what I mean? That's the problem I have. That's the problem I have with this PED thing. And then half the media, like I said, are a bunch of sheep anyway, who just do things because of press passes and to be able to get in to see fights and shake hands with their fighters, the fighters they like. This is what it is. You can listen to as many channels as you want. I'm going to tell you as it is. Because I've been there, I've seen it, and guess what? I've been, I would say a victim of it, but by doing things my way and not doing things their way, it pisses a lot of people off. But I don't care. The first thing he got caught for is pure deadly. I heard what you're saying. Billy Joe's dad tried saying that about Eddie and Billy Joe, but this Miller is a cheat for sure. Okay, well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not here defending Miller, or I'm not justifying Miller, or I'm not or defending Miller, or I'm not doing those things. All I'm saying is have an open mind about this situation. Every time this situation comes up, it makes me question. Yeah, who knows if these are legit? It's not what you know, it's who you know. Eddie gets fighters stripped like Saunders too. Well, there we go. So we don't know. We don't know. But this is the same people that tell you, oh, we're looking for a fighter. Bullshit. Don't tell me you're looking for a fighter. A multi-million organization has not got a backup fighter already prepared. And hey ho, this week, Michael Hunter signs a promotional deal with a Matchroom. Well, did you not hear all that? Did that slip under the radar? And then when I went to email or try to get a DM, tried to DM on Michael Hunter, it's like no reply. And I normally get a response from him. I wonder if it's going to be Michael Hunter that's going to be the guy that they're going to put forward. Michael Hunter, remember him? Remember him, Michael Hunter? The guy that Billy Nelson thought Bakoli was going to walk through. Michael Hunter, the same guy that fought Alexander Usyk down at cruiserweight. Michael Hunter, the same guy, is now gone and put a beating on Ustinov. Remember how big Ustinov is? I noticed that people like to talk about he's much bigger than him. He's much taller than him. He's a big heavyweight. So that means he's going to win. Well, what was the excuse with the Ustinov fight with Michael Hunter? Oh, well, Ustinov's a bit old now and he's still bigger and stronger than him, right? Absolute garbage that people believe sometimes. And, absolute garbage. They say they're looking. But guess what? Guess who else they were looking at? Vladimir Klitschko. Remember I said to you, May 25th was this pencil-in date for Klitschko to make his comeback. That's not too far away from June 1st. Now, let's remember that Bakoli is Joshua's chief sparring partner. And let's also remember that footwork is key in boxing. Michael Hunter is not a bum. Michael Hunter can box. He can move. He's from cruiserweight moving up to heavyweight. And anybody who moves from cruiserweight up to heavyweight is a danger because they bring speed up with them. And they're used to fighting guys who are lighter. So Joshua doesn't punch as fast as any of the cruiserweights he's faced. And he's faced technically better boxer than Joshua in Alexander Usyk. Okay? So I think it's either, for me, I think it's Michael Hunter. They talk about, oh, yeah, we're going to look and see and wait until the end of the night to find out. So who are they suggesting? Derek Chisora? Or Dave Allen? Or Lucas Brown? Really? Oh, come on. You're telling me an organization like Matchroom or DAZN hasn't got a backup fighter in the contract? Ingram answers this. Look at Joshua Miller. Which one looks like they could be on PEDs? Well, I've had this conversation before. And I still remember what else Miller did at the press conference when he was talking about Anthony Joshua and how Joshua was caught with certain drugs or certain something to do with the tests that were done on Joshua. And Miller said he's on something to do with growth hormones or something. So Miller was talking about Joshua in a manner which I think was deleted from Sky Sports. I think was deleted from their video. But yeah, it came up. To be honest, they needed Jennings or Mansour, but I think they've both been losing, so doubt it. I think Hunter will be picked. Joshua is on stuff, but he's on high class stuff probably. But LOL, 1 year the test will update and show it. They're always catching up. Yes, they don't like Miller because he's straight up no bullshit. This is what I'm saying. Dillian White was saying Joshua definitely on it. Well, look, and forget Dillian White. Forget Dillian White. Let's get Dillian in the room a second. Dillian, bro, I love you. But why are people going to pay to watch you and Joshua fight in America? Let's be honest. Why? I love you, and I'd love for you to fight Joshua to get your world title shot. But really? June 1st? Nah. You know, I'll ask the question, how long did they know this? And how long has a fighter got to prepare? 8 weeks? How long's Joshua been training? You don't see this stuff. So, to me, they know what they're doing. They do it. They know exactly what they're doing. And of course, it's another week of delay, isn't it? So they won't announce the fight now. Next week. Next week, they'll announce the fighter. So wait. So that's 8 weeks? Well, does that make it 7 weeks now? In a way, I feel for Miller because I kind of feel he's being shot in the foot. Well, when you speak out the way Miller was speaking out, go back and listen to stuff Miller was saying about Joshua. When you go out and speak out in that sort of way, there are ramifications for it. You're messing around with people's money. You're messing around with people's investments. You understand? It's a shame, Marky. Miller and AJ was a decent matchup. Somehow, I think he's too smart to be doing stuff like that so blatantly. Well, I just think that he spoke out of turn, if you get what I mean. You got to think how much of an investment Joshua is. Do you really want that sort of stuff coming out on your fighter? True or not? Miller's from Shannon Briggs, people, so he's on it. By connection, you're on it. In that case, then, Pacquiao and any other fighter that comes out of the Freddie Roach gym must be on it. That means Carr must have been on it. That means Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. must have been on it. That means Miguel Cotto must have been on it. And the list continues. By association. Miller hangs around with bodybuilders, and it's either he took contaminated supplements or he only knew what he was taking. Follow his social media. I agree. White refuses the first offer to fight Joshua, but now he suddenly wants to step in. Exactly. Are we really going to go down the route of conspiracy theories? Nah, man. Well, what do you mean conspiracy theories? Is it a conspiracy that Adelaide Bird, who is a judge and has made some terrible judging decisions, is still around and is going to be judging Golovkin versus Jacobs? Is that a conspiracy theory? At a fight where it could go to points if Canelo doesn't knock out Jacobs, it could go to points. You've got Adelaide Bird there, who's got a history of messing up huge fights. Conspiracy theory? What are you talking about, man? We're talking about things, corruption in boxing, in front of your face. Why do you have to run behind? I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand it. What are you talking about? Conspiracy theories. These are stuff that you can see with your own eyes. And it's not out of the ordinary for these things to happen. Unless you think that boxing is a very open sport, which is, everyone's good to one another and everyone treats on it. man, you need to get out and see and get amongst and talk to boxing trainers and really understand how dirty and nasty sport really is. It's no conspiracy. When you're fortunate, like I am, to have been around trainers like Sanchez and Bashir and Peter Fury and Tommy Brooks and Derek James, when you've been around trainers like that who've got such wisdom, you do hear a story or two. You do hear a story or two. Now, it might not be what you want to hear, but by listen. And then fighters talk as well. What do you think that? Do you really think that it's just a case of you do an interview and then it's it? I spent a whole week in a hotel, more or less, with Stavern, and I learned so much more about a fighter from going to, the fighters' meetings where you sit down. You've got Brian Custer and Ranello and Al Bernstein. You get to see certain things that fans don't get to see. You get to see, for example, when these videos are being put out with people doing pad work, trainers will say, you can have that, you've got to get rid of that, or you can't film that. Very much a pantomime, a platform of theatre, and fans only see what the promoters, the manager, the trainer want you to see. Media workouts are a joke because I've spoken to many a fighter that says, do I have to do a media workout? And they go, yeah, we got to do media. Okay, right. Throw 3 or 4 punches on a pad, do some skipping, and we're out of there. Let's see what people say. Don't just take please word for things like the mainstream media. No, that's what it's about. You've got to think for yourself. Miller has been caught twice now, even before he entered boxing. Wait. Are you listening to me, or are you just plowing the script, Mohammed? You got to listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm not defending Miller, nor am I. I'm not defending him, or am I outing him? I'm just saying, in general. All right, let's clear that up before you go on go on a tangent about me thinking I'm defending Miller. Please listen to what I'm saying, and if you're not sure, rewind it and play it again later. Seems like the heavyweights are on it more than the other weights. I remember another fighter that everybody knows, and he said to me that 90% of the fighters are on it. Does Miller not seem smart enough to get caught doing stuff like this so blatantly, or am I missing something? Something tells me Miller has a side of story too. I mean, if you really think you can get into a world title fight, just think this out logically for a second. Just in your mind, you're getting paid the highest amount of money you've made in your career. You're boxing in New York, Madison Square Garden. You know Varda's going to be around you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you're going to go and shoot yourself up with PEDs? Does that actually make sense to you? The only way that would make sense is if he shit himself. If he shit himself. He got scared of Joshua. He came close to Joshua. Maybe at the gloves were off, or the second press conference, and he shit himself. And he felt, oh, you know what? I've got to try it best I can to beat Joshua, because I've been talking all this shit. I've got to back it somehow or the other. That's the only way, possibly. Or you knew you had the Joshua fight in the bag before you fought Dinu. So, I mean, it don't make sense to me. Personally, it don't make no sense to me. It don't make no sense to me. You're fighting in New York, and you go and do the shit you're doing there, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense whatsoever. Win, lose, or draw, you're making a heck of a lot of money. And you watch Miller's behavior. For months, he was crying out for Joshua. He was talking all sorts of shit. Now you get the fight, you decide to go and take PEDs. Something don't add up to me. Either that or Miller's not complete the full package. Most boxers, 95% of boxers are not complete the full package. In fact, I'd say every boxer is not the complete package, because you're getting a ring or somebody punch your head and render you unconscious. Who wants to do that for a living? A lot of boxers. So I think the thing is, he probably has been using supplements, but because he isn't enrolled in any stringent drug testing program, he wasn't caught earlier. Okay. The other question again, did anyone think Miller looked like he was on PEDs in those performances? It helped. It never helped with his power, so he must be doing it wrong. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. Miller wasn't known as a big knockout artist. And as for stamina, wait, hold on. I mean, there are fighters that look like Miller before. Tony Tubbs, he had pretty fast hands. Andy Ruiz, he's got pretty fast hands. He seems to have good stamina. So I'm not sure if stamina and work rate ultimately equal because somebody's on PEDs. Well, if you want to talk about somebody being on PEDs, well, why do you say Usyk's on PEDs? Why do you go down that route? That man never seems to tire. What about Usyk? Pacquiao, he never seems to tire. Huh? So I'm just saying, I mean, if you're going to go down that route, well, if he's got lots of stamina, then he must be on PEDs. If you're going to go down that route, then there's a list of fighters you could go down that's got issues and you could say have been using PEDs. Sky Sheep said that they thought he was on PEDs before the Joshua fight. Nobody said it until he got caught. Ah, I don't hear anything about that. Now, I'm going to move on to another fight, which is Crawford versus Khan. Let me tell you something about this story, about this fight. Going back. I'm quite frankly sick of Hearn and AJ fight Joyce. Hunter and Gonaski are not even exotic names. Nonsense. LOL, why does AJ tire assuming he's on PEDs? The stuff ain't high enough? I don't know. Good question. But hold on. Wait. Larry Olibanu, the War Machine, talked about him being a chemist, and he had every single sort of drug in the market you could get. He said himself, and he could punch like a mule. He got knocked out. That doesn't, because you got PEDs doesn't mean that you suddenly become invincible. So I don't think that equates to that, to be honest. I think there needs to be an education on what PEDs is, what PEDs isn't. And what you need to do is have somebody who's actually on PEDs. This sounds bad, but at least somebody on PEDs, and we can actually study what a guy on PEDs is like and what they can do and what they can't do. Because there's a lot of fact and a lot of fiction. Have you ever heard of lactic acid? We have heard of lactic acid. Fight Wilder, fight Fury, fight White, fight Joyce. No, AJ, you're still there. AJ has left the chat. AJ has a lot of muscle. He has. Yeah. It sets him more big muscles. Yeah. I want to talk about Crawford versus Khan. Any of you that know the history of this channel will know that we used to talk to Crawford before he became champion. We spoke to him twice. And he resented the fact that Amir Khan, he was compared to Amir Khan. This is just before Crawford went on to beat Ricky Burns for the title. Let me tell you something now, having spoken to Crawford and more or less spoken more to his trainer. they want to do a number on Khan. They really want to do a number on Khan. If you listen to the interview I did with his trainer, they said anytime Khan gets hit on the chin against somebody who can punch, falls apart. That's their belief. The way I see this fight could end early. Real early. Real early, this fight could end. And I heard some, I was watching this interview, and I heard some of the dumbest shit being said. I've got to be honest, some real dumb shit being said. He's bigger than him, and he's stronger than him. He's been at the weight longer than you. What bullshit is that? You're an experienced interviewer, and you're saying to Terence Crawford, well, he's been at the weight a lot longer than you, and he's bigger than you, and he's stronger than you. Yeah, and that boded well for our friend Anthony Crolla. Well, that boded well as well for what's his name? Rocky Fielding against Canelo. He's taller than him. He's bigger than him. He's longer than him. He's got a longer reach than him. Where is this garbage coming from? And these are people who are respected in the sport of boxing. When has somebody been taller than somebody and bigger than somebody equated to them being better than somebody? You know, absolute garbage. You're not saying to the guy, look, you've got to take into consideration, okay, he's bigger than you, he's stronger than you, and he's better than you. He's got a better technique than you. That's a conversation. Like Errol Spence, he's bigger than you, he's stronger than you, and he's technically better than you. That's why you're getting your ass kicked, Mikey Garcia. He's bigger, and he's stronger, and he's taller. Yeah. Well, can you explain why Rocky Fielding got his ass beat up? Can you explain why Crolla was rendered unconscious? Because they weren't good enough. Why don't you just say, yeah, he's been at the weight longer than you, but that really doesn't matter. It's going to come down to technique and skill. No, people watch that on TV, and people who are not in the knowledge listen to these interviewers, and then they think, yeah, he's bigger than him, he's stronger than him, I'll stick a tenner on Khan. And then they get resentful when Khan gets knocked out. They go, oh, Khan can't fight anyway, can't take a shot. Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why? Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why? People should be crucified for saying stuff like that. It really should be. These are professional, been in the sport many years, and now we're just watering down the questions we're asking. He's bigger than you. He's taller than you. He's been at the weight longer than you. Well, are you suggesting that Khan is stronger than Jeff Horn? Really? Are you suggesting that Khan takes a better shot than Jeff Horn? Okay. Oh, my God. Yeah, somebody's coming in and said, I saw a makeup artist taller than Wilder. Yeah, he'd have chinned him. LOL, oh, my God. This is my point. I think that when you hear an interviewer start talking garbage about taller and bigger, yeah, that's basically equates to you haven't got a hope in hell. You haven't got a hope in hell. You're bigger and taller means not you're better. It means you haven't got a hope in hell. But let's talk about something to make you feel good. And Khan, the idiot, sorry, no disrespect, but Khan's sitting there when he's said, oh, he's taller than you, and he's bigger than you at the weight. Khan's sitting there getting that excited. Yeah, I'm bigger and I'm bigger than Crawford. And I'm taller than Crawford. And I've been at the weight longer. And then, wait, what made it even worse? Wait for it. Did you see the weigh-in? And Khan was standing over Crawford. Yeah, I'm taller than you. Yeah, I'm long at the weight, I'm bigger than you. And I'm at the weight, and I've been at the weight longer than you. Yeah. And Khan's looking at Crawford, and I'm like, you're gonna get the shit beat out of you. I just have to say it like this. It sounds brutal, and he is. Is he not realize that Crawford technically has got better footwork than him? Does he understand Crawford can switch from orthodox to southpaw with ease? Does he not understand that? And then Khan talks about game plan. Game plan. Okay. Game plan. He says, oh, well, I was expected to win those fights against those people, and this time I'm coming as an underdog. Khan is one of the most deluded fighters in world boxing. Oh, I'm going to get myself up for a fight. Listen, you get yourself up all you want. You make too many damn mistakes, and you've not ironed them out. Between the last fight and this fight, you have not ironed out their mistakes. How could Khan win the fight? Well, I tell you how Khan could win the fight. Khan would have to, and even him trying to do this, what Khan's got to be careful of is getting caught in between. And that's what I think Crawford's going to do. Khan is vulnerable to a left hook. He drops his left hand. He's vulnerable to a left hook over the top. He moves around. It can get timed, so he moves in a way that is very predictable. So he's easy to get timed by hooks. He also can't fighting backwards. So if Crawford were to take set of ring and walk Khan backwards, Khan can't fight with his back against the ropes. There are 6 million ways to die, where there's 6 million ways to knock out Amir Khan. You can knock him out with a left hook. You can knock him out with a right hand. You can just wait for him to jab and throw the right hand over top. Just wait for him to jab, wait for him to jab, wait for the jab. He'll drop his hand, boom, right hand over the top. Or wait for him to move from right to left. Wait for him, time him. He'll walk onto the right hand. He'll walk onto the left hook. Or you walk him back straight against the ropes, slam the right hand on him because he doesn't know how to fight off the ropes. He can't fight on the inside. He doesn't like body shots. He doesn't like body shots, Khan. Who does? But when Khan gets hit with a body shot, he shows it. How does Khan win the fight? Okay. I'm blunt because I just can't. I can't do the daring to be great garbage. I've had enough of it. I'm sick of it. This fight, Crawford is faster. And this bit about Khan being stronger than Crawford, oh my word. All right. Khan will probably get manhandled in there. Lamont Peterson was manhandling Khan in there. All right? That was a few years ago, but he was still manhandling Khan. For Khan to win the fight, for me, he's got to come at the traps fast and jump on Crawford. He's got to surprise Crawford. He's got to come out and just go all guns blazing. Literally like Thomas Hearns. Come out all guns blazing and jump on Crawford. That's his only chance. If he tries to stand and box with Crawford, he's going to get outboxed. Faster hands, better footwork. I will also arguably say that a faster hands, bigger punch. Makes too many mistakes. Makes way too many mistakes at this level. So, yeah, I'm sorry. If Khan beats Crawford, he needs to be given the keys. He needs to become mayor of London, right? Or, yeah, he needs to become mayor of London or mayor of Bolton if he beats Crawford. He needs to be called Sir King Khan if he beats Crawford. If he beats Crawford. That's how Khan, if he beats Crawford, then, hey, but I don't see him beating Crawford. Because I actually don't think, okay, take your speed away for a second and just think of boxing fundamentals for a second. Crawford will demolish Khan. Notice how Brook is still stalking him. He's in America, ringside, watching it tomorrow. A better fight would have been Brook versus Crawford. Crawford Brook is a better fight. Why? Because Brook physically is stronger than Khan. 1. 2. Brook is better counterpuncher than Khan. Brook, although he can't fight on the inside, from the outside, does pick his shots nicely. I think it's a better fight, Crawford Brook, than Brook Khan. Because Brook can take a shot. I'm not saying Brook. I don't know about Brook now because he can't see a right hand coming. So he's a guy I think should retire, Brook. He seems to be a guy that the last fight was getting caught with all sorts of punches that he wouldn't normally have got caught earlier in his career. So I wonder if his eyesight is as good as it is advertised because he was getting caught with too many punches. But I just think Crawford's going to demolish Khan. Anything inside 4 rounds, yeah, that quick. If Samuel Vargas is putting you on your ass early, then Crawford will keep you there. And if Crawford hurts Khan and Khan decides to do the stupid thing, which is to call Crawford onto him, it's an early night because Crawford is vicious. Vicious. Crawford's ready to go. If you look at that interview, he was ready to go then. He was ready to go. See how his back was arched and he was looking into Khan? He was ready to take Khan out there. If Khan had said, let's go, Crawford would have jumped across the couch or would have punched up Khan already. I'm telling you, Crawford's ready to go. And the other thing is, which concerns me, I don't see that hunger in Khan. He's talking about, I'm up for this fight, and he doesn't sound to me like a guy who really is hungry for the fight. He seems to me like a guy who's going for the motions, as he's achieved everything he needs to achieve in boxing. He seems just a guy to me who's basically making as much money as he can now. He does not come across to me to a guy who's got that hunger. We're going to find out soon enough, though. Exotic song before Usyk Bellew. There's going to be a drama. Ingram, yeah, drama when Usyk knocks him out. Savage. I'm not buying into the daring to be great bull. I'm sorry, I'm not. I would love for Khan to become champion. Love it. But sorry. I'll sound brutal, but I'm sorry. Sorry, King Khan. We're back here again. Oh dear. I'm looking forward to this fight on Saturday night. Brown versus Allen. Again, now I think Allen has said that it's come out and said he believes that Brown could knock him out. And that's different from Allen. Before I heard that Allen said that Brown, there's no chance Brown could knock him out. Now he's saying something different. I don't know. The big test for me is how Dave Allen reacts to his first top of the bill card. I said it already. Top of the bill card. Check. Fact down tweet. He's failed the third test this time. EPO. Oh dear. They really are giving it to Miller, I'll tell you. He's crucified. Absolutely crucified. So, if he has been cheating Miller, then he's done for. He's done for. If he's caught again, he's done for. But anyway, back to this situation here with Mr. Allen and Mr. Brown. Brown's been top of the bill. He's been a top of the bill fighter before. Allen hasn't. It's all very new for Dave Allen. I hope he hasn't caught up in the atmosphere and all the hype around it, and he's got his head screwed on for Saturday night, because If he comes out looking anything like he fought against that Argentinian guy, he's going to have a few problems. I don't know. I didn't look at the Brown fight against Sokolowski, so I don't know how bad Brown looked. But Sokolowski's no bum. Sokolowski's decent. So, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know who's going to win the fight. I really don't. But it should be exciting for as long as it lasts. Is there anything else that comes to mind that we should talk about before I disappear tonight? Anything else, people, I should talk about? Gary Russell Jr. returns. Gary Russell Jr. is coming back. He'll be fighting, defending his title against Kiko Martinez. So that's something to look forward to. Gary Russell Jr., Kiko Martinez. I don't think Allen has the power to beat Brown. Brown will be too much for him. Klitschko. Yeah, Klitschko comeback. So talking about Klitschko as a potential, I mentioned earlier, potential opponent for Joshua in America. Hey, I mean, I don't know. Klitschko's been training for so long. He was rumored to be wanting to come back on May 25th. Who knows? If you haven't already seen my workout with James Ali-Bashir, my pad work with James Ali-Bashir, get across to BWTM Sports and have a look at it. Also, check out the mini doc I did with James Ali-Bashir and Vlad Tsarenko. Do check that out. I had the pleasure of recently being in Germany with Ali-Bashir as Vlad Tsarenko and James Ali-Bashir, watching them in camp training. So do have a look at it. You get real in-depth about how Bashir and Tsarenko work together. And of course, before I finish, Joe Joyce has now changed trainers from Abel Sanchez to now Adam Booth. If you haven't seen the interview with myself and the one and only Sam Jones, do check that out as well. I think I want to finish. Finish on something. And I'm going to say a few words on it, which I feel I need to. I feel compelled to. I feel I must. So I will. Going to talk about, to end, I think Allen will choke like he did against Lenroy. Very possible. Very possible. I'm going to talk about this. Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. I'm going to talk about that for a second. Tunde Ajayi and Team Yard and everyone else over there in the gym, in the Peacock gym. Now, I will say this much. People have ripped Tunde Ajayi for a number of reasons. In the way he's speaking so confidently and all the rest of it. But the man, until Yard fights for the world title and fights Kovalev, how can anyone make a judgment and say, yeah, that pad work is crap and it's this and that? You can't really say anything until he actually fights Kovalev. All these people are jumping off the bandwagon now on Tunde Ajayi. What are you going to do if Yard happens to beat Kovalev? It's not like Kovalev hasn't been knocked out before. And the one thing I know for sure, is that Yard hits harder than Ward. He hits harder than Ward. I don't know about all the stuff about him being technically better than Ward. I think Ward is defensively responsible. I think Tunde made a statement and he said that He's never watched Andre Ward fight before. Well, if you've never seen Andre Ward fight before, or you've seen clips of Andre Ward, but you've never really watched him, how can you make the statements you've made about Andre Ward? It puts you in a situation which, even if people wanted to listen to what you had to say, it's kind of a bit of a turn off. And I find it a turn off anyway when fighters talk about the sport of boxing and you sit down and talk with them and they don't know even the fighters in their own division. And for me, I find that a bit of a problem because you're not doing your market research. I think you should. Now, I don't know how much of what Tunde's saying is true because Mayweather says he doesn't look at his opponents, but I can guarantee you somebody else is looking at his opponents and then they're working for a strategy. So I don't believe for 1 second that Mayweather didn't watch his opponents. I think he watches opponents all the time. And there's an expression. And the expression goes like this. Ali said, champion liars, champion fighters. So if Tunde Ajayi has got Anthony Yarde 4.2 million to fight Kovalev, then good luck to Yarde and Tunde Ajayi. Me personally, he's done an amazing job with Yarde. If you're gonna say, name me how many other British fighters have got themselves into the position that Yarde's got himself into with very little amateur experience and got themselves ranked #1 in the world. Yeah, you could say the opposition's this, that, and the other. But if he goes and beats Kovalev, what are you going to say then? Well, you can't turn around and say, well, Kovalev's a beast and he's a big puncher and all the rest of it. And then if Kovalev gets his ass kicked, you say, oh, well, Kovalev was an old man. Yeah, you can't do that. I know a lot of people in boxing do that, and they're not sincere people. So I think we need to wait and see whether Yarde is for real or Yarde is a hype job. You got to wait and see. The people are already making opinions, and I hope these people are making opinions now are going to stick by their opinions. Should Yarde go on and beat Kovalev, that they stick with their opinions. And of course, you see, when Tunde Ajayi is speaking the way he's speaking, speak it, believe it, believe it, becoming, or whatever it is he says it. I can't sit down and knock Tunde Ajayi for what he's saying because a lot of things he says in terms of affirmation, law of attraction, all that sort of stuff, I speak it myself. So I can't sit there and knock another man's grind. Absolutely not. And it's a lot of positive talk. I can't knock that. But unfortunately, that doesn't work for everybody. Chris Eubank Sr. was giving us all the stuff about how his son, Chris Eubank Jr., was going to be better than Mayweather and all the rest of it. And we all saw how that ended up. So British fans were disappointed in Eubank Jr. because of Eubank Sr. And we found that he's not as good as his father said he was. And people are kind of disappointed by that. Now you've got Tunde Ajayi, but he's been saying it for years, saying the similar thing. Well, he's not saying that Yarde's better than Mayweather. He's gone and said that Yarde's better than Andre Ward. So there's some parallels there. But let's just hope, for Tunde and Yarde's sake, that they can go ahead. I would love for them to go ahead and beat Kovalev because in this country, in particular, we like negativity. So there are contradictions that Tunde said, but you can't take everything Tunde Ajayi says as gospel. You really can't, because champion liars, champion fighters, he said it himself. But he believes in his art of work. His art of work is Anthony Yarde. If Tunde Ajayi goes to Russia and they knock Kovalev out spectacularly, what are you going to say? Kovalev's an young man. I think it's an amazing achievement. Ambassador for Adidas and Maxi Muscle. $4.2 million. There are fighters that won ABA titles, British, Commonwealth, and European titles. I've never seen 4.2 million. I wonder if Anthony Collar's seen 4.2 million. I wonder if Rocky Fielding's seen 4.2 million. I wonder if Matthew Macklin's seen 4.2 million. I wonder if Darren Barker's seen 4.2 million. But shall we go on? I don't know if they have. But those are accomplished. Those guys fought well as amateurs and had established careers. Now, Yard hasn't fought anybody. He's going to get 4.2, could get 4.2 million to fight Kovalev. To me, that is a damn achievement. And for that, Ajayi as a manager should be celebrated. And it's a joke. He's making a mockery of it, and Chisora is playing second fiddle to him in the O2. He must be pissed. Well, listen, Chisora's of the mentality of, let me get paid. All I care about is getting paid. That's Chisora for you. Thank you, Ingram. Tunde contradicts himself so much it's embarrassing, making outlandish, disrespectful comments that isn't confidence but delusion. Yard will beat Kovalev. Tunde just has to be a little bit more circumspect. Let your actions speak. Well, yeah. Who is this B-Tech Steve Bunce? What? What? I don't know what he's talking about. But I do know where he's going. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the whole Tunde Ajayi situation. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chisora gets done. No, I wouldn't be surprised either. I wouldn't be surprised either. I don't expect much more from Derek Chisora, to be honest. I expect him to get knocked up by White, and he got knocked up by White. So I think that's it for me. Please don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave the comments, check out the videos, the recent videos, the interview with Sam Jones, the manager of Joe Joyce, talking about Joe Joyce changing trainers. Check out our interview with James Ali-Bashir. Usyk versus the world. We're talking about heavyweights. We're talking about Usyk facing the heavyweights of today and yesteryear. Some great matchup there with Usyk. So check that out. Also check out our interview with Vlad Tsarenko, and also check out our in-depth feature on Bashir and Tsarenko. And finally, check out our little visit, our tour of the Bulldog Gym in Germany. Check that out as well. So for me now, it's all about legacy, BWTM legacy. Following legacies of people so that, you can follow big fights. When a big fight's over, it's over. But stuff like what we're doing with Bashir is legacy. Bodybuilder says, I gave drugs to Big Baby Miller. It's my fault. Well, I'm happy for you. That's your 5 minutes of fame. Blaming Don Charles for his shortcomings. Well, I can't say any more about that. Right, as always, don't forget to rate and subscribe, leave your comments. Thank you so much for your support. Really loving it. Take care and have a great night. And don't forget to share the videos. Take care.